Hello and welcome again to another room here on TryHackMe. This one is called Security Operations. It's basically learn about Security Operations Center. It's a SOC center. Its responsibility is services and data sources. Now this is an easy room and there is a task in the end. There's going to be some website in browser TryHackMe generated, not a real website, but something that looks like it to emulate some sort of task we gotta do in the end as a practical example. So the very first task is introduction of security operations. Now, reading the text itself, I will leave that to you. It is basically a little small text, but it kind of says that a security operations center SOC is a team of IT security professionals tasked with monitoring a company's network and systems for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, depending on which kind of year it is. The purpose of monitoring is to, and then there are some headlines. And these I'm just going to talk about briefly, and I trust you to read the small lines of text. Find vulnerabilities on a network. That is the hardest task in the world. Have you ever looked in Wireshark, the traffic flow? Have you ever looked at traffic tools? It can be the most difficult thing to identify something on network traffic because you don't really know what you're looking at until you identify, oh, that is how that particular malware or scan or attack looks like in traffic. Many people know, like, oh, so if I upload a file, then maybe I can find an upload vulnerability, and then maybe I can get a reverse shell. Alright, but how does it look like in traffic? The thing is that most of the time it looks legit, because it's real packages, it is real connections. So it is not really that's going to give it off. What usually gives it off is like the pattern in it, the way it's being done, how fast is it done, when of the day is it done? Is it only like after you go home for work? Because there are certain places in the world where a real job, a full-time job, is actually meeting in the office from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock afternoon. That is your 8-hour-ish workday where you hack other people for money. Yeah, there's like bonuses and you're getting a full-time payment and there's retirement plans and stuff like that. It's like, whoa, that is a real job in some worlds, and it's probably in the world where it's difficult to find a job, physical, some sort of job. So you need to find some digital job, right? Physical, digital, that is my way of explaining it, but so I'm not, I don't know where, but there are of course some places in the world that got more of this, Detect unauthorized activity. That is very interesting because depending on which kind of security operations center dude you are, then it can either be looking at some homemade some homemade system that is created by the company, or you can sit in a security company that other companies hire to monitor that traffic, right? So then there's a Linux and Windows thing, and in Windows you got a lot of logging and event log and stuff like that, and Linux it's a little different because you don't really have the same kind of methodology built in the log files, but it is the same things you're basically going to look for. Windows usually does have it with graphics. Discover policy violations. So when you're dealing with policy violations, I guess these two lines could be read pretty fast. A security policy is a set of rules and procedures created to help protect the company against security threats and ensure compliance. Now, usually you talk about this when you I either talk about the ISO standards. Let's, for example, say ISO 27000, or for example the NIST standard. And depending on where in the world you are, you would either need to be compliant to NIST or ISO. Now, NIST is obviously something that is American made. Most worlds, they probably say ISO standard before NIST, but I want to make it clear that the NIST standard actually covers more than the bare bone ISO standard. So if you are ISO 27000 compliant, maybe not all the way, but some of the way to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it is, then if you're NIST compliant, you probably will be even more compliant if it could be mapped directly to the ISO standards, to other and more deep ISO standards, apart from the 5 first ones, right? So what I'm really saying is that the NIST standard is deeper, it maps more, and the ISO standard is an international standard, so and the NIST is American standard. But there are many opinions about that. Oh, you can still do NIST and stuff. You can do that. And sure, yes. I'm not saying you cannot. I'm just saying that, if you want to look at the facts and say ISO is international and NIST is American, that is true. No one can argue with that. But some people just say, oh, but you just do NIST, then you're home safe. Yeah, but depending on where you live in the world, there are laws. And those laws are going to say you need to be ISO 27 standard compliant. That doesn't really comply to NIST, right? Then you cannot do NIST. But there are rules to say that if you're ISO 27000 compliant, you can still use NIST, just not in the first 27,000, but then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can use, whatever things you need to comply to the 27,000 standard, right? I hope that makes sense. It's a little difficult to explain, and I should probably make some graphics about it, but this is not really what this video is going to be about, so I hope you got it. Detect intrusions. This is where you usually have your intrusion prevention or intrusion detection. So the IPS and IDS, they go hand in hand. So IPS and IDS is kind of the same thing. The only difference in it is like the IPS prevent, the IDS does not. The IDS for detection and the IPS for protection is like, in order to protect something, you need to detect it. So that is, what you can say, reliant on the detection part. The protection part is reliant on the detection part. The detection part is not reliant on the protection part. So basically, you can have the IDS as much as you like to, the intrusion detection, right? But if you do not prevent anything, then it's basically just an alert. You're giving like, oh, something happened. And it's like, you're not doing anything. But if you're preventing it, then you can still have the alert, but you can also have the, and then we stopped it. So you can have, I would say, pushing them, away from each other. The IDS and IPS is, I would say, in many ways weird. Is it a flaw? Yes, it is, because you cannot have protection without detection. However, you can have detection without protection. So, yeah, okay. Support with the incident response. So this is really just all about that the SOC team can support the incident response team to handle the situation. You need to have some sort of way to handle whatever thing went wrong. Okay, so if you got hacked, bad. But then what do? Do you just like, yeah, let's go have a beer, have a lollipop. I have a lollipop here actually. No, what are you gonna do? You're gonna press a button and say, reset. It's a course of action. I almost feel like saying that just doing something is better than doing nothing, but not really, because it's all dependent on how do you store your backup, for example, because that is so important. It is the backup solution that's gonna save your company if you really get hit hard. So if you're getting hit hard with ransomware and all the kind of things, and you're like the F and some word and stuff like that, then you really need to be able to have a good backup to say like, we're just gonna do backup. We lose the days of work, but we save our customer base, we save the company, and that is worth having a really good backup solution for. So we're down to the questions here. It's like what the SOC stands for, and we have it right here. It's Security Operations Center. Let's take this. And how many hours a day does this? 24 hours, of course. So that's it. The first one. So we got to the elements of security operations. Now we're getting a bit more specific. Now we're talking about examples of data sources, the services, an example scenario, and the data sources here is like server logs, DNS activity, firewall logs, DHCP logs, and it's a thing itself. It's really difficult to just say, okay, so what could be like with the server logs? Well, if you read the text, you're gonna get the overall impression, but I think most people, they just say like server logs. This is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I hear the most. Is when I educate people in computer science, and when I talk to my students and I have them for the final thesis or final project, depending on what you're going to call it. I also do bachelor educations, and you just, when you talk to them, it's like, so what are you going to do? They found a job. It's like, great, you found a job. Way to go. You need to do that. But then I went to think about security, and sometimes when I talk to them and their bosses just after post-education, they go like, yeah, but we don't really do security because we don't have the time for that. We need to develop. It's like, yeah, okay, I see. Development is good, good it is, but do you remember security? And they're like, yeah, we didn't really do that. We just did things. So they have some sort of app from their phone, and they pull an API, and they don't have any security. I was like, what the woo? Okay, I see. Very interesting. Let me see the source code, but of course they would never let me show that. But then again, when I talk to them about how do you secure your service, it's like, yeah, we have some monitoring software that looks at the log files. We can set up some rules and stuff like that. But okay, I see. Which kind of log files? My next question is which, because log files is just a generic term for a file with text in, right? And then which file is it then? Is it this or that? We don't know. So they're like, yeah, but we look at the Apache log file. It's like, yeah, okay. Wow, okay, you look at the Apache log file. Great for you. So you look at one log file. What about the other ones? And I was like, the other ones, but it's a web server. I was like, yeah, I know it's a web server, but what about the other ones? It's like, is your whole company one machine with just a web server and that's it? And no, we have many servers. It's like, so you have more log files. And then they go like, yeah, but okay. And it's like, yeah, think about it. I'm really trying not to get into the talk right now. I'm just like, not to say anymore. The video's getting too long. But look at all the logs: DNS activity, firewall logs, DHCP logs, any kind of log you have. You need to monitor it. This is what OWASP is also all about. Let me go to OWASP docs. I'm really sorry, but this is something you need to do. You're gonna go to OWASP here, and you say like project top 10, and then you go like hocus pocus. You got something called security logging and monitoring failures. It is within the top 10 of what you have the most of, and it's like, whoa. And actually it's gone up from 2017, and you ask yourself, is this good? It's like, no. But is it because it's more bad now, or is it just because new category pushed it up? Well, you can look at the arrows and say like, yeah, it looks like it's being pulled up, but could it just shift place with a new one then? I'm just saying that, isn't it sorted in some way? Yes, it is. But the point is that you need to look at all your log files. I think I sound weird now enough to make it important for you to think about. Then you have the SOC services. They include reactive and proactive services in addition to other services. Reactive services refer to the task initiated after detecting an intrusion or a malicious event. Example reactive services include So we have the reactive services here, and we have the proactive services here. So the reaction part is whenever something happens, then you go like boom, you do something right now. The proactive is like is you focus on monitoring networks, you're like threat hunting and threat intelligence and all that. So you are doing something before an actual vulnerability or attack is detected. Basically, that is what usually is handled by the SOC team. And I would like to say, we already talked about these kind of things: monitor the security posture, whatever, vulnerability management, malware analysis, intrusion detection, reporting, blah. We all talked about this, but it's really important that you understand these things if you are going to work in a company as a security person. Alright, so the example scenario is one role in a SOC is a SOC analyst. A SOC analyst responsible for network security monitoring and log management. Let's consider the following scenario. While monitoring the network traffic, a SOC analyst notices a particular DNS query repeating every minute. Okay, so this behavior is not that a user browsing the internet and every precisely 1 minute they're making a new DNS query. It's like, whoa, that's weird. The SOC analyst checks the source of the DNS query and identify the cause of one laptop and network. They isolate it and inspect it for signs of infection. They discover a process program using DNS to communicate with a malicious server. Soon they found out that the computer was infected after visiting a malicious website by reviewing the computer logs. As a result, the laptop began communicating with a malicious server by hiding the messages in DNS queries. The laptop is cleaned and threat hunting starts to ensure that no other computers are infected. Now, this is probably something like malware infection of some sort, and when you see DNS queries from a particular machine being sent outwards, like that, it's because they try to hide their communications with some sort of legit traffic. And this is what you're going to look for. Not something that is illegal traffic, because making an actual, maybe illegal is not the best word to use, because it is not meant to be created, but it was created. But the traffic itself is legit because it looks like a DNS query. It is a DNS query, but the way it's being used is not right. So that is what this is all about. And whether this was an infection of a botnet or something, and made this machine like a zombie. And a zombie is a machine infected with some sort of software just waiting for the command control server saying, now we're going to react, and then the zombie go like, and then attack someone. Please don't refer to the from my side, because this is awfully weird. What does NSM stands for? Stands for Network Security Monitoring. So let's take this. Alrighty then. So now we are here and we are on the last task, practical example of SOC. Alright, so we have a castle here with a brick wall, and you can just go around it, and then the brick wall doesn't matter. But this particular drawing is just a drawing. So we use a firewall to stop an ongoing attack in this task. A firewall is a device that inspects a network packet entering and leaving a network system or system. The most basic types of firewalls and specs: source destination IP addresses and source destination port numbers. So yeah, I guess. So a firewall rule might be similar to the following: of source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, action. And then you do stuff like this. The action is drop or pass. So basically, the above rule detect that all the IP addresses from the source IP this to the destination IP that, and it's going to be the port number 80 will be allowed, hence pass. All packets from this IP to that IP, destination port 23 will be blocked, hence the drop word. Yes. Click on View Site to begin simulation. As a member of the SOC team, while monitoring the network and system, you Notice one malicious IP attacking one of the company's computers. Da, 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 da. It seems that they are targeting main destination port with malicious packets. Santa's been a bad boy, you know that. It seems best if we block them at the firewall level. Add the necessary firewall rule to block all the ongoing attack. What is the flag? Blah, blah, blah. So we need to block it, get the flag, and we're done. So let's view the site. And let's start the simulation. So we are basically getting a lot of traffic from the, I guess the red is look at this. Is this going to explode? Please explode. I need to see this. Oh no, this went down. Try again. Okay, so basically we need to block this IP here. So it's basically gonna be this one to that one. I'm not sure about the port is, I don't know. Add? Is it 80? It was 80. Woo! We blocked it. So I don't really know. I didn't really notice because I got stressed out. I was like, I need to press the buttons. But go away. Ugly things. I want to see it again. I just want to see one more time because I really want to. This was kind of funny looking. And what is it like? The website. Oh, it says there. Okay, so I should read the text. And we basically see that one computer is sending packages to this, and they're getting overloaded by the battery, and I love it. That's very funny. So basically, let's see it go down one time. Okay, I'm going down. And boom. Blue screen of death. And restart. Okay, so this is really funny. We did it, and I'm gonna close this room here. And we learned something about security operations. I really hope you learned something from this video, and if you did so, please consider subscribing to my channel. It will be greatly appreciated, and I will get back to all questions and reactions as long as I can, as fast as I can. So, to you again, thanks for watching my video. See you out there.